one who may have brought that there. Maybe it was his telescope.
No, that changes.
Probably in the 5th season it's gone because they've broken up.
We're bringing up.
We don't know. In other words, that's not a fact.
No,
That's a
it's
reasonable
just-
conjecture.
Yeah, I just went the other way, as they're being stubborn and hoping that she'd be able to see things.
You know, in the script, we were talking about the script, to get back to that sanitary napkin again. It's not in the script. That's why I was late. I was up there looking through, we just bought A Time to Heal, so I was looking through that episode for interesting things to say, so I wouldn't sound dumb here. It doesn't say it's supposed to be a sanitary napkin. It just says she looks around for something, to cover. So I wonder whose idea it was to use that, because it's so great. It's just a great.
I gather it was one of the first Joe ever filmed.
So I'm hoping maybe that Gloria could ask Joe if she talks to her.
Okay.
If that was her idea, because it
Write it down
might be
and
something.
I'll-
I think she's the type of actress that would come up with things like that. Well, this is a logical thing, so let's use this. Does anybody have one with them?
Because if you look at it, my golly, that's what it is.
Yeah, and it just fits too. It just kind of fits there.
He's got to see that.
He realizes that's what's on his
He's probably never seen one.
And then going back to
He's only been married 25 years.
No, I think
Vincent, okay.
Vincent probably would not know where it was. What? He's made the
He's not up to noticing at that point.
I'm listening. I'm going to have to tell Mother about these. These are just the right size.
I was just curious if anybody else. The thing I liked about Diana, the first time I really, really, really started liking her was when Vincent was on her bed when she brought him back, and she ran her hands over his hands. And to me, it's something I always would have wanted to do.
Yeah.
To me, she did things, to Vincent that Catherine, even though she hugged him and held him and kissed him, Diana just did things that I would do.
Joe enjoyed that scene very much.
I don't think Diana would have very.
She enjoyed this.
Yeah, I must have been there.
Yeah, she enjoyed it.
I don't think that Diana, if she finally decided at a point that she wanted to make love with Vincent, I don't think he'd be able to talk her out of it. I don't believe the room. I never go back on it. I don't think she'd be that easily talked out. No, we can't, Father. He'd be upset. No, she should just say, close the drape.
Tell her to find someone either. Diana, we must have been, so we can't, Diana. We must have been.
And in that
There'd be an okie-dokie in there somewhere.
She hit it between the eyes. I'm interested in hearing what Joe had to say about it.
Yeah, me too.
What, about
Yeah,
about
episode.
that particular scene?
Yeah.
Well, in the interview I had with her, somebody wanted to know what was the most difficult scene and what was the one that she really liked. And she said, well, the most difficult one was shooting Gabriel. But the one that she enjoyed the most was the scene where she was taking care of Vincent, the tender scene.
If you look at that, and if you have a machine capable of slow motion, when he goes down on the floor, she covers it with what looks like a down comforter. But what happens in the final split-second instance is she tucks it over her shoulder.
Yeah, she touched his head a couple of times,
Yeah.
and just
And
before the
no great fuss is made about it, but there is an immense tenderness besides simple caregiving. And in the scene you were mentioning, where she touches his hand, remember what she does? She goes out and looks at the pictures on her board, and then comes back. And clearly what she's thinking is, these are his hands, and these are the hands that did this. Both at once. And I thought,
it doesn't
so subtly made the points of that. I love that episode because there's so many undercurrents that they don't have to absolutely hammer you over the head with them to be there. By the way, apparently when in that episode, I've been very fortunate that someone sent me a copy of Joe's interview at the Halloween convention in Germany, I guess now 2 years ago, and she described that scene as they told her that when Mark comes in, that obviously they're going to know that there is a cat there, and that she has to go and scoop that kitty litter, and whatever, and they had her running back and forth across the set, so Mark would not find this immense pan of kitty litter. which was just about as absurd as it could get. But apparently they were being rather silly on the set that day. So
It broke the director up every time he thought about it.
So at any rate, that was part also of the Time to Heal and background that I now know only through this. And by the way, if anybody has not seen this 2.5 hours worth of interview, which is a real nice session, I make them for anything.
They have a question over here.
I just want you guys to study Diana, I don't know, and I have, how did she know about the lovers in law? To me, that kind of came out of nowhere, and she just looked at him and started saying the lovers be lost.
Yeah, I think
How did she
that.
know that?
Yeah, I think because she had read that so many times, that she was trying to give him some comfort at that point, and these lines just came through.
Coincidence?
Yeah, she had no idea.
No, it was marked in the book.
Oh, see, now I thought that she knew, and that's why she said it, and then it was like,
Well, basically, as best I can tell, there's no reason for her to say the paths of glory lead but from the grave, but to the grave, which is Thomas L.G. Yeah, she chugs out there just in time for Vincent to go splat on his face. So I think when you're talking resonances, you're not talking linear logic. In other words, all of a sudden, something sets something off and you think, okay, he's going to go to her grave. And it doesn't matter whether it's a poem that does it or something else.
But I
So,
like the story
how
that you wrote, where she camps out at the grave and in the cemetery for...
Well, that's after that, yeah. After the events, anyway. So the point being, there's no reason logical at all that you should have picked up on Low Lovers Be Lost. But clearly that, along with the Shakespeare sonnets, is among the effects that she knows connects Vincent and Catherine. And there is much conjecture that I don't have the answer. In The Rest is Silence, Vincent arrives with the book in his hand to say that to Catherine. I cannot believe anything but this is his attempt to console Catherine in the belief he himself will die. That nothing else makes any sense to me. He didn't just pick it at random. He just feels this mad extremely strong impetus to share this with Catherine to the point he hasn't got a clue she's not in the apartment at all. She's some 15 feet away talking to Father when he sets out, it would appear. And so he flings the book away when he finds that she's not there, and he's rather annoyed she's not there. I brought her this great poem and she's not here. He's a little out of it at that point, and it's unclear whether the book ends up on the balcony or goes over the edge. I can't see what happened to the book after that.
So I think if Diana
wound up with it.
That is logical, but also the rose changed shape several times, so we may have to judge expediency about this a bit.
Well, then also there's the fact that when Vincent is healing in Catherine's bed, and she's laying beside him, and he's been saying this over and over again, and so it seems logical to me that if the book still remained in the apartment, perhaps Catherine marked it.
Or at least looked it up. Looked up
She
the
might have
full
done.
form and had it.
Well, she said by that time he's been repeating it in fragments for 3 days, and she by that time was able to say who wrote it, Dylan Thomas, which doesn't necessarily mean that you've just been hearing fragments of disconnected poetry from a delirious man for 3 days. So I want to make sure everybody can get to whatever events they want to. This is scheduled to end at 3. You have been a charming and